What is going on, everybody? AEW is back again with another video. We're here for Shooting the Breeze number 6. Now, this is not going to be the longest Shooting the Breeze. This might be the shortest. Who knows? Depends on what I say, which I guess I can say that about every video. Anyways, this is more of an update video because it's going to be a loaded couple weeks, couple months maybe. I think things are going to start popping off, as they would say. But last week, I didn't make a video besides my RH review. Main reason, I am lazy. And the main topic, not only in the world of basketball, but in the world in general, was about Ja Morant. And it was about an incident that took place. It was similar to another incident that took place. And the same thing I said about that, I will say about this. I hope Ja Morant the best. I am a big Ja Morant fan. I'm a Grizzlies fan as well, but I'm just wishing Ja Morant the best. And I just like covering basketball-related things. And I feel that a lot of people, and this is not what I said last time, but I'm saying this time, a lot of people are talking about this. That shouldn't be. So I'm going to be I guess, smarter one, or just do what a lot of people should have done and just not said anything. So I'm wishing Ja Morant the best. I'm wishing everybody the best. But in particular, Ja Morant, because there's a lot of negativity on him. So, again, backtracking. Maybe I didn't make a video last week. I'm lazy, and the main thing that was being talked about was about that. And everything else that I would have talked about, I'll be talking about this week. That being said, Wednesday will be another edition, of Things I'd Like to See in the 2033 NBA Offseason Volume 5. And yes, I regret having that long of a freaking title when I could have simply just titled it 2023 NBA Offseason Wish List, which I might end up changing the title. Each episode, I'm pretty sure I've changed the title anyways. But in that episode, I'll be talking about teams eliminated in the second round of the playoffs. And who knows, Wednesday, I could talk about the teams eliminated in the conference finals because 2 teams are down 0-3 in the conference finals, which is going to be the first topic of this video, the conference finals. The Denver Nuggets are currently up 3-0 against the Los Angeles Lakers. What should be discussed with this? Nikola Jokic, a lot of people are apologizing and said they did not know much about Nikola Jokic. I've always been a Jokic fan, and there's a reason they were the number 1 seed. Also, it definitely sucks, but the main discourse, hey, they are now the only, I can't say that, Miami freak. They have not lost a game at home. They're one of 2 teams that did not lose a game at home in the playoffs. And I know that playing in Denver, playing at elevation is difficult, and especially when you look at one of their opponents, LeBron James has always had difficulty doing that, and this is the first time, obviously, in the Western, I don't know about Eastern Conference teams. I don't think there's many, but especially there's always been that discourse that LeBron doesn't play well in Utah and Denver because of elevation. And I'm not going to say his slip-ups he had in Game 2 were because of that, but it could be a great reason. But for Denver, they just have a great team that I didn't expect to pop off this year. Obviously, Jokic winning back-to-back MVPs and getting Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. back healthy, they're going to be a great team. But I'm going to admit, I did not expect them to be as dominant. I did not expect them to be bums like some people did. But I thought that Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. would take a minute for them to get their step back, but just to be out there and play meaningful minutes after such serious injuries, especially to Murray. But with Jamal Murray, he has been popping off in these playoffs, in particular in this series. And I will admit, I'm going to ask a question that I'm not really going to answer. Is Jamal Murray a top 10 point guard? I say that because I was looking, I do this occasionally, where I look at my 30 hats behind me, and I was like, well, is Jamal Murray better than this guy? Is he better than this guy? When it comes to he is probably one of the hardest players to rank. He doesn't have any All-Stars. He's now in his second conference finals, potentially his first finals. But I just don't really know. I guess that's a topic that will be discussed another day. I'm just putting that out there. But for Denver, I'm glad to see they're doing well. I wish I was making videos last summer because I would have had a great take. Wouldn't have been like a hot take because I think a lot of people probably would have agreed, but Bruce Brown, the most underrated free agent signing for such a cheap deal. This is definitely a hot take. I was saying he was the best player in that Boston Celtics Brooklyn Nets sweep series in the first round because he was the only guy on Brooklyn scoring because KD and Kyrie, all the defensive attention was going to them. Well, I thought he was the best Nets player, and for Brooklyn to let him go, especially for not a lot of teams, we don't really know, but for him to end up in Denver, I thought it was a great situation for him to end up because Michael Porter Jr. was coming off of injury and that he would probably get a lot of minutes with them trying to acclimate Michael Porter Jr. back in. But just this series, he's been all over the court defensively and even offensively. So I am giving Bruce Brown some praise, and he's got a player option. I imagine it would be difficult. I can see him definitely coming back to Denver, but I think he should get a pay raise and a bit of an upgrade in the offseason, so I'm giving him a lot of credit. I'm giving Jamal Murray a lot of credit. Aaron Gordon, another guy that is he feels very forgotten in the NBA. He was very close. He had a case to have an all-star season this year, but this team is one win away from the NBA Finals, a team that's got discredited all year. They, even going into the playoffs, a lot of people didn't expect them to do much, and they are doing their job, but it is like the old saying, job's not finished. So this is kind of the main reason I don't want to talk about the conference finals, or just I haven't really want to talk about the playoffs in general, is because I don't really have much to say. And even like now, if I'm like to predict things, the finals is like two teams are up 3-0. Do I expect the Lakers to come back? Look, I don't expect the Celtics to come back. That's a topic I'm going to cover in a minute. The Lakers, they got LeBron. Now, LeBron is 38, which, depending on what side you're on, that's a good thing and a bad thing, because a lot of people are like, well, y'all expect LeBron to do this at 38? That just shows that he's so great. Well, if you've freaking done it before 1,000 times, and that's a made-up number, by the way, then why not? But it's going to be, look, even if it's not a sweep, it's going to be extremely difficult for the Lakers to win in Denver, considering they didn't do it the first two times they had a chance, especially when you're down. So, hypothetically, if they were to win Game 4, which I hope they don't, Game 5, they'd be down 3-1. So then they would have to win 3 straight, which they would have already won 4 straight. Denver's only got to win 1. Doing the math, I'm not that good with math. You get the point. I just don't like, there's nothing really to talk about, because with this, it's mainly done. And with the Lakers, I think they are, I don't know if they're satisfied or not. I'm not a Lakers fan. I don't like many Lakers fans. They will say they're satisfied because they had such a small chance of making the playoffs, which I just hate that. Especially because, look, I like Darvin Ham. I'm not going to say anything bad about Darvin Ham, but he's like, look, this is our percentage in getting to the playoffs. And he like showing it to the roster where half the freaking roster wasn't on the team when that was a percentage chance. I hate that. Y'all know me. I'm a Russell Westbrook fan. And they treated the Lakers, and Lakers fans treated him like dirt. So, yes, I do not wish the Lakers very well, and I'm happy that they're down 0-3. But, that being said, I want them to lose, and I'm not trying to jinx the Nuggets, so that's kind of the main reason I'm not been discussing this. So, now to the Eastern Conference Finals. It kind of makes it look like I'm a Miami Heat fan, because I got on a Miami Heat hat. The main reason I got this hat on is I am taking all the credit for their success. Not really. I'll take a little. So, on my Twitter, currently, right now, my profile picture is me in a Miami Heat hat, in a picture I took in freaking February. It's a nice picture. I had this hat on. I had a Buffalo Wild Wings glass in my hands with Diet Pepsi, I believe was the drink of choice. And I'm like, this is a nice picture. I'm going to make this my profile picture. And they made it to the freaking conference finals and possibly the finals after having such a weird year and a weird team. They just made the conference finals last year. They're one couple of seconds away. I was about to say 1 second away. They're a couple of seconds away. Jimmy Butler, I made a whole shoot in the breeze talk about Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler has just been so efficient and dominant and just wanting to get the job done, which is that's a phrase in basketball now, that He's not letting that chance go. Now, I will say this. Against Milwaukee, it's understandable. Because Giannis went out in game 1. Now, to be fair, they did lose Tyler Hero. But Giannis, Tyler Hero, you compare it. Anyways, beating the Bucks is understandable because they played the Bucks without Giannis 3 games. And then Giannis came back. Obviously, you're rushing him back from an injury that he probably was still lingering. That being said, Milwaukee, y'all should have won Game 5. Y'all blew that crap. Miami Heat, giving y'all all the credit with that because y'all dogged them in that. But anyways, beat Milwaukee, understandable. There's a reason that Milwaukee lost, besides Miami winning, if that makes sense. With the Knicks, y'all know me, or y'all don't know me. I'm not the biggest Knicks fan, especially with the team. I gave a lot of praise to Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, even though a lot of Knicks fans apparently hate Josh Hart now, which is a bit of a surprise. But with the Knicks, they have a lot that they need. I was about to say don't have, but that wouldn't make sense. There's a lot that they need. And it was probably way too much on Jalen Brunson's shoulders to carry them to the conference finals. So beating the Knicks, again, is a bit understandable. Now, this Celtics one, I don't know. I really don't. Boston has been a dominant team all year. To be fair, they did lose their coach at the beginning of the year and replaced him with a guy that was supposed to be interim. And then they're like, hey, we're doing the same thing, so we might as well keep him. And now a lot of Celtics fans are coming after him. Look, the Heat being up on the Celtics doesn't make that much sense. When let's just look at this. The Celtics, going into the offseason, had the best offseason out of anybody because they added Malcolm Brogdon, which I was saying and thinking that they need a actual point guard. And like Marcus Smart, he kind of did say it best. He was like, well, the one time we made it to the finals, we didn't have an actual point guard. We had me. But I was like, them adding Malcolm Brogdon adding Malcolm Brogdon while keeping Marcus Smart. And then they signed Gallinari, which obviously he didn't play because of injury. I just thought they had the best offseason because they added a guy and a need essentially for free. And then this season, they obviously had a great year. They're the number 2 seed. They had 2 All-NBA players. I don't know what the hell went wrong. It's just like Jimmy is at another level. I hate saying that because it seems somewhat disrespectful. Because Jimmy Butler keeps saying, well, it's the playoffs. This is where it actually matters. To be fair, when you look at his Miami Heat tenure, the first year there, they made the finals. The second year there, they got swept in the first round, which I guarantee a lot of people forget about that. And then last year, a couple of seconds away from the NBA Finals in a Game 7. And this year, I believe it when Jimmy Butler's like, we are going to do something. And I respect that. The one thing I will say, though, I don't really want the Heat to win the finals because this team is not the best, and it would be a respectable title. It'd be a respectable win. They had 8 seed. I don't know off the top of my head if the 8 seeds ever won the finals. I don't think they have. I know that the New York Knicks in '99 were the 8. I don't even know that. I think the Knicks were the 8th seed in '99. They came close to winning the finals, but then they lost to the Spurs. I do know that. But if you understand what I'm saying, this team sucked all year. A lot of people were saying they sucked all year. And then for playoffs to happen and everybody just turns the gear on, it would definitely change the way a lot of people look at the NBA. It would change a lot of the things about the NBA because a lot of people were just saying, well, it matters in the playoffs. And who knows? And to be fair, they're playing the Lakers. It's an even matchup, maybe. They're playing the Nuggets. There's a lot of awkward times. I'm trying to think. They're playing the Nuggets. Would be interesting. I'd be intrigued to see how they do in Denver because they've obviously done well in Miami. They have still not lost I was going to lie. They did lose one home game against the Hawks. I think a lot of people forget about that. It's just such a weird is just the best way to describe it. But being weird sometimes is great. So Miami are doing well. I'm taking a little bit of credit just because I have this hat on. I love this hat. Denver, keep doing you. Lakers, y'all should have treated Westbrook better. Boston, let me talk about Boston. I don't know what the hell happened. Now, obviously, I'm going to make a whole video talking about things in the off season, and I just think the way everything. I think people obviously have a lot of opinions. I think the logical thing and the thing that's most likely going to happen is they run it back one last time. And I'm going to end up saying this about a lot of teams just because of contractual situations and just timeline situations. It's just kind of how things are going. But with Boston, Jaylen Brown's going to be an expiring contract. And they have the potential to extend him to a big-ass contract. Same thing with Tatum. But it's just like Al Horford is going to be another year older. I don't know how old Marcus Smart is, but he's definitely getting older. And like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are obviously young, but they're about to be in the NBA like timeline period. They're about to be in the middle part. And it's definitely a weird thing to say, but it's just like, I think a lot of people have the opinion that Jaylen Brown wants to be on his own and have his own team and just wants to do different than Boston. And you got to think, if you're Boston, do you just let him walk away for free and get nothing back? It's going to be hella hard to replace him. Or do you take the risk in training him and actually getting something that might be worth it? Who really knows? I don't think that's going to happen. And again, I do see a world where, I just kind of like, I don't know. And who knows? They might go back to the finals. It's going to be very difficult because it's never been done in NBA history for a team to come back 0-3, especially with 2 chances for that to happen. Who really knows? But with Boston, the main thing I was just kind of saying is I imagine that they're going to run this team back one last time because they did so well. They just crumbled when it mattered most, and they are not showing much heart. And they've gotten used to these guys for so long, and each year they've been competitive. They've been in the conference finals a lot, I think. So, oh Jesus Christ! The only times I don't remember them in the conference finals was the year they got eliminated in the first round because of injury, and the year they got eliminated by the Bucks. That was 2019. But again, it's just been a hella competitive team. So that's my conference finals talk. I didn't really want to talk about it a lot just because it's very weird to have 2 teams 3-0. And it's also hella weird that one of those is the number 1 seed that nobody believed in, and the other one is the number 8 seed that no one believed in, and they're up 3-0. It's just a weird thing. It's just, sometimes be different. Now, continue with NBA talk, and something else that I predicted, and I think I had a bit of a hand in doing. The San Antonio Spurs ended up with the number 1 pick, and I think 99.9% chance that they will draft Victor Wembanyama, which my very first things I wish take place in the 2023 NBA offseason video, I was saying I really wanted the Spurs to get Victor Wembanyama because they've had the lineage of Tim Duncan and David Robinson, 2 guys. He's been compared to a lot of people. You can definitely compare him to those guys. And I just looked at the NBA, and you look at all the teams. The Spurs needed him the most because as of right now, they don't have that star guy that they drafted high and is like, yes. And like I said, the lineage of Tim Duncan, David Robinson, 2 guys he's got compared to, it just made the most sense. Now, the Charlotte Hornets have the 2nd pick. And in that same video, I was saying that the Hornets should trade Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward. I wouldn't really talk about their draft history or what they should do in the draft. To be fair, their draft history is not the best. But I'm intrigued to see what they do at 2 because they can either select Brandon Miller or Scoot Henderson. And I think Scoot and I almost said Lonzo. That's hilarious. LaMelo would be very interesting. And I don't think there's a world where it doesn't work. It should work. But with that being the case, Terry Rozier should be gone. But, Charlotte is always doing something confusing. Number 3 is the Portland Trail Blazers. And I made a whole video talking about them. And I guess it's going to be the main discussion point. But, so, long story short, Victor Wembanyama to the Spurs. Kind of already talked about this 2 to 3 months ago. Charlotte getting number 2 is definitely very weird. So Portland have the number 3 pick. And with Portland, I essentially made a whole video talking about they have done everything for Damian Lillard. It's time for them to move on. And now the rumor is that they are looking to trade the pick to add a star to the team, which makes sense. It's just what freaking star is available. And I think the main thing they're looking for is the small forward position, which is, again, a what the hell type of thing. I don't know. I think, personally, I said in that video, talking about the Trailblazers, that they should trade him to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Karl-Anthony Towns, because the Timberwolves need a point guard, because I imagine they'd rather have Damian Lillard over Mike Conley. Karl-Anthony Towns is most likely... You're never going to get back what you gave up for Rudy, so you might as well keep Rudy. And essentially a one-for-one swap would at least make sense, because you would probably offer everything that they offer to get Rudy Gobert to get Damian Lillard, and with Rudy, he would work well at center. I don't know. I'm just kind of rehashing everything. But now, backing it up, they're trying to do the opposite and keep Damian Lillard and get a star. I think the weird thing is going to be they're going to give up their future that they got now, that I compliment as saying bright. I don't think they think their future is that bright if they're willing to just give it up to keep Damian Lillard and to get a star. The main guy that has came to mind, a lot of people have suggested, has been Pascal Siakam, which again is an extreme risk considering he's going to be a free agent. It's just a weird thing. I don't know. Also, what I was kind of just now getting at is there's definitely a great debate that the number 2 pick, if Scoot Henderson or Brandon Miller, will go 2 or 3. And I think, personally, if they can get Brandon Miller at 3, you already have Simons at your point. You already have Sharp at your shooting guard. You already have Brandon Miller at your small forward. Now, I know Karl-Anthony Towns probably wouldn't want to be in a rebuilding situation. And even I could have brought this up when I was talking about the Knicks. This is just I'm dwelling all over the place. But I was just like, I think timeline-wise, young-wise, he just fits what they have, especially if they're drafting Brandon Miller at the small forward position. So, and then you trade Damian Lillard for Cat, or even a freaking power forward. It's just a interesting thing that we will see take place. But I think everybody is agreeing, hey, Portland, draft somebody at 3. But it's just an interesting world if they're going to trade the pick. Which, I will say this about the draft. I hate this. Every year, we hear from Woj or Shams, mainly Woj, saying, expect a lot of activity, expect a lot of trades. And we never get any. We never get any big-time draft trades anymore. The last one was the Westbrook one, which obviously that sucked in the long run. And now, we're rumored at 3 to get a pick or a trade. At 4, the Rockets. Who knows? I'm going to talk about the Rockets in my video Wednesday, because I don't think I have said this already. So, again, I was saying this video is mainly an update video. So, my upcoming videos. Wednesday, off-season, things I like to see in the 2023 NBA off-season, or I might even shorten it and title my 2023 NBA off-season wish list. Volume 5, teams that were eliminated in the second round, and who knows, by then, I might be able to talk about teams eliminated in the conference finals. But I'll be talking about the Rockets and the 76ers and James Harden, a bit of a tease there. Friday will be my ROH review, and Saturday will be my Night of Champions / Double or Nothing predictions. I'm still considering doing one Saturday, doing one Sunday, the Night of Champions on Saturday, obviously, because of the day of the premium live event. And then Sunday, my Double or Nothing predictions. But I might just go balls to the wall crazy and do both of them in the same video. I'm still filling it out. The next week, it is going to be loaded. But before we get to next week's parts, I need to talk about AEW Collision that was announced. I like the idea. I don't hate it. I like that the logo looks like the WCW Nitro logo. People have opinions with that. So, I have a rule on my channel where it is for AEW. I am not going to bring up a certain individual that is from Chicago and is a former two-time, yeah, you probably forgot that, two-time AEW World Champion, until that man actually shows up on AEW programming. Now, to be fair, that could happen at any time. It could possibly not happen at any time. But, moral of the story, I'm not going to bring him up in this, even though his name, his likeness has been lacking, but should be there in this AEW Collision thing. The long story short, I like AEW Collision. I like the idea of it. There's a lot of negativity going towards it just because of the man I'm not going to name, and the idea that it's on Saturday night, and the idea that they're splitting the rosters is just going to be more confusing. I do respect that they're not doing a draft because that would make it a lot more confusing, and I feel fans would hate that, and then they'd feel like they're ripping off WWE and all that crap. But I wish it the best because they're fighting an uphill battle, and it will be interesting. But I hope it does not end up like Rampage, because Rampage is in a very bad position, even though I did enjoy Rampage for what it was / is, because it still exists. So, yeah, the main reason I'm giving such a short discussion about it is because I set that rule, I set that precedent, but who knows? The next time I talk about this show, I might be able to mention it if that certain individual returns. So, rewinding, I'm going to give a recap of this whole video again, even though you watched it. Spurs won the lottery, which I somewhat predicted and mainly hoped for months ago. Conference finals, I'm glad that the Nuggets are up 3-0. Please finish it so I can continue to talk about the team. The Heat, I am surprised, like everybody, that you're up 3-0 and you have us rethinking the Boston Celtics. But your team is extremely weird. But like I said, that is sometimes a great thing. Sometimes it's a little bit bad, but I think in this situation is a great thing. And also, taking a little bit of credit because I changed my profile picture months ago, not just recently, in February, to wearing this same Miami Vice hat. AEW Collision, I will be interested. I will be watching, but a lot of people probably won't be because they'll be asking certain questions about where one Pepsi man is at. So that was kind of the whole recap of this whole episode of Shooting the Breeze. Now, again, I'm going to go over my schedule because the main reason I made this was because my schedule, June is going to be a great month. I love June, even though all these videos I'm going to be talking about are based in May. But I love June is the month that I was born in is the main reason. But we got a lot of stuff coming up. So Wednesday will be my 2023 NBA offseason wish list. I think I'm going to officially change the title of it. Volume 5, talk about teams eliminated in the second round. And like I said, by then, I might be able to talk about teams eliminated in the conference finals. Friday, weekly ROH TV review. I believe we're at number 12, episode 12. Might be 13, might be 11. If I had to put money on it, number 12. Saturday and or Sunday, or just Saturday, my Night of Champions and Double or Nothing predictions. And then next week, my favorite videos to make, fantasy booking. Now, for Money in the Bank, I think I'm only going to fantasy book the Money in the Bank matchups. It just is very much dependent on what happens at Night of Champions and the direction some things go in. But also a Forbidden Door fantasy booking. I guess you could say fantasy prediction as well. It will definitely be weird because I'm not the most up on my New Japan and just like I'm going to compare it to last year's card a lot. So, but I will be doing fantasy booking for Money in the Bank and Forbidden Door sometime next week. Most likely Monday, Wednesday. And like I said, always trying to upload videos. I didn't upload one last week. I was just lazy. Like I said, I kind of did this video just to catch up on the main things that had happened in the past 2 weeks. And if the other things that I didn't really talk about were teams eliminated in the second round, I'll be talking about again on Wednesday. So, thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Please take care, and I'll see you in the next video.